Good morning, students. Today is Tuesday, January 12th, 2021. We are going to work on the second part of our story, Tiny Invaders, from our lesson in our Workshop 5 in Contagion. So you're going to need your real book, you're going to need your pencil, your binder, and your independent reading book for today's materials. After you've done your daily check-in, make sure you complete your bell work, which is week 15, day 2. And then today's lesson is 5.5 Contagion. The assignment is pages 248 and 249. Have you complete your 20 minutes of software and your independent reading, and then complete your reading log. Today's learning target, we will identify a text central idea and analyze how it develops. We will identify the key idea of a science article and cite text evidence. And just a reminder, students, that tomorrow, Wednesday, is a flex day, so there is typically no Zoom. And then also, because there are no school for students on Thursday and Friday, we will not be pushing out any lessons or assignments. So you will have nothing to do for Read 180 on Thursday and Friday. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started with lesson 5.5. And if you look at the preview, the flu and SARS aren't the only dangerous diseases. The second part of Tiny Invaders will introduce other diseases that have spread in the past and those that are still a problem today. As we continue reading Tiny Invaders, we'll learn about some of history's worst epidemics and pandemics. We'll also examine details about the diseases to see what makes them all so deadly. All right, so if you turn to page 246, we are going to go ahead and start with our vocabulary words. The academic vocabulary words, we'll do those together. Our first word is contain. So I might say, I am able to guess a movie's ending because earlier scenes contain clues that tell what happened. And the word contain means to have or to hold something. So if they have some clues in the movie, I might be able to guess how it's going to end. Now you're going to complete the following question or answer the following question. What foods does your favorite lunch contain? And you'll answer in this sentence, my favorite lunch contains foods like, and then go ahead and fill that in. And I just tried to put some favorite lunches in case you get stuck. I have some pictures on this slide. Our next word is exposed to. And so if I look at the word exposed in a sentence, in low temperatures, my face gets very cold if it is exposed to the wind for too long. And exposed to means to be put in a situation that is dangerous or unpleasant. So when I said my face could be very cold because of the wind, if I don't have a scarf or a face mask or a face shield of some sort on, it could be very dangerous to expose my skin to those really low cold temperatures. Now the question you're going to answer is, what happens if your skin is exposed to the sun for too long? And you probably have some experience with that, but you'll go ahead and answer this question. If your skin is exposed to the sun for too long, what would happen? Okay, so we have learned how the flu virus spreads and what happens when it overwhelms the body. Now let's find out about other deadly diseases that are caused by tiny invaders, such as viruses and bacteria. So just like in our other assignments, our strategy is we want to preview that key idea question so we kind of know what we're looking for, and we'll be able to answer that question more thoroughly and with using text evidence from what we've read. So you're going to answer this question. Why are these diseases considered so dangerous? So keep that in the back of your mind as we read, and we will look for those text evidence or those details that will help you do that. All right, so page 248. Deadly diseases. The flu is just one type of killer disease. Here are other examples. Plague. And plague is a pandemic. And remember we said from yesterday, a pandemic is when an epidemic spreads from one country to another. So the plague happened when? In 1331 to 1351. Where? Asia, the Middle East, Europe. What happened? In 1331, the plague broke out in China. It spread across Asia and into Europe. It caused bleeding under the skin, which made victims' fingers, toes, and noses turn black. Plague is caused by bacteria. Like viruses, bacteria are a type of germ. Most people became infected after being bitten by fleas carrying the bacteria. As many as 200 million people died in the pandemic. Okay, the next one we're going to read about is cholera. And cholera was also a pandemic. When? In 1816 to 1860. Where? Asia, Middle East, Africa, Europe, North America. And what happened? Cholera has killed millions of people worldwide. The first three pandemics, all during the 1800s, killed more than 15 million people in India alone. Cholera makes people dehydrated and sick to their stomachs. Like plague, it is caused by bacteria. People get cholera from drinking water that contains the bacteria. Today, most people have access to clean water, but cholera is still a problem in parts of Africa, the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and Haiti, where not everyone has access to clean water. Top of page 249. Smallpox. And smallpox, that was a pandemic. When? 1900 to 1977. Where? Worldwide. What happened? The first known outbreak of smallpox took place thousands of years ago in Egypt. It later broke out in Africa, the Middle East, Europe, Asia, and the Americas. Between 1900 and 1977, 300 million people died of smallpox. The smallpox virus causes high fever, aches, and red spots on the skin. In 1796, scientist Edward Jenner created a vaccine. This medicine contained dead smallpox viruses. The dead viruses activated the immune system without causing illness. The vaccine gave people immunity to smallpox. They did not get sick when they were exposed to the virus. Today, smallpox is no longer a problem. And the last one we'll read about is Ebola. And Ebola is an epidemic. And remember, we said an epidemic is an outbreak that can spread to a wider area, such as a state or a whole country. Now, when did this happen? 2014 and 2015. Where? West Africa. What happened? In 2014, a boy in Guinea fell sick with Ebola, a virus that causes high fever and bleeding. His symptoms were very serious. The boy died. Soon his whole family became sick and died. Ebola had struck Africa as early as 1976. But this time it was worse. The disease spread throughout Guinea and to the neighboring countries of Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Nigeria. It also spread to Europe and the United States. Scientists are working on a vaccine to battle the epidemic. All right, so now when we're going to do our second read, we're going to just reread it. I'm going to have you reread it. You can back it up and listen to me read it on the recording, or you can read it on your own. But I want you to think deeper about how the details about these different pandemics and epidemics add to what the text is saying about diseases. So the first thing you're going to do is underline the dates which each disease was a problem. Just go back with your pencil and underline the when it happened. And then after reading this part of the text, we know when some of these diseases caused either pandemics or epidemics. So think about, how do these dates help us better understand deadly diseases? So again, think about when these pandemics or epidemics occurred and how long they lasted. And after you've underlined the dates and you found some of these details, I want you to go back to page 249 and complete the question under the Identify Central Ideas and Details section on page 249. Now I want you to think about, would a fever tell you for sure that a patient had Ebola? Or would you need to look for other symptoms too? So if I were treating a patient that might have cholera, I would see if this person was dehydrated and sick to his stomach. I'd also ask if the patient had access to clean drinking water and if he had traveled to a place where cholera is still a problem. Do you notice how I looked at what those symptoms were? What were the symptoms of that disease? And I could ask the patient if he had any of those symptoms to determine if he truly had cholera for that disease or that sickness. Now the last thing you're going to do is the stretch section. And so you will choose one disease. What symptoms would you look for if you were a doctor treating a patient who might have this disease? So what I'd like you to do is write the disease on the line, and then what symptoms would you be looking for if you were the doctor? All right, and that is all we're going to do for these 2 pages. Again, once you've completed this page, go ahead and take a picture of both pages 248 and 249 and submit to Schoology. You will find the assignment in the Workshop 5 assignment folder, Lesson 5.5. And then again, reminder of your tasks for today. Your daily check-in should be done, day 2 of your bell work for week 15, and then Lesson 5.5. And just keep plugging away. Make sure that all the assignments this week, even if it's a short week, please get those submitted because they will go on the second quarter grading. And I will be doing grades here probably within the next week. So again, if you have any late work, make sure that gets submitted to me. If you have any questions, you're going to have to reach out and we can talk about your assignments individually. All right, that's it for today. I'm going to let you go to get started on your software and your independent reading. Have a great day, everybody.